Priority 000 distress call. Flee, and keep fleeing. End off message. Diary of a domain breaker. I'm a domain breaker. Every civilization that develops FTL eventually runs into them. Domain walls. A leftover from the earliest moments of the universe, with catastrophic consequences when traveling faster than light. Such craft would suddenly seem to crash into an invisible wall. Nothing identifiable remains in the atomized remnants. You might think I have a dangerous occupation. It is not. Sensors show where the domain walls are, with almost 1 light-year equivalent margin of error. My job is to map out where exactly those domain walls are, flying sublight speed on my thrusters. Most would find it a boring and lonely job. I love it. Breaking a domain wall was sometimes exploring new things. The thrill of discovering something new. I could spend all day dreaming about it. Like when the Ranbar, a race of wingless creatures, discovered a rectangular domain. Its origin could only be artificial. Inside they found a giant mass accelerator, a doomsday weapon. Those filthy roaches repurposed it and patented it for cargo transport. Now they monopolize the interstellar trade and make flying spaceships between habited systems dangerous. That all happened a few hundred years ago. Hell, even the newest sight-to-behold price had been awarded about 80 years ago. Long before the few other precursor domains had been located. Some had wonderful technology. Many were empty. A few had warning buoys and active defenses. No one got past those. 0-point energy. Not understood by anyone, the precursor tech was powering my thrusters. I went to maximum acceleration, a lot to do. The domains around this large spiral galaxy. Scans around a few small ones and then a somewhat smaller spiral galaxy. I was planning to go up to 0.9 C. My shields would struggle at anything faster. My regular front cameras showed the fireworks of impacting particles already. I was not even at 0.6 C yet. Time dilation and all, I still had a long journey ahead of me. I set the computer to alarm me when we crossed a domain and went off to sleep. I put on the comfortable buzz of a hive and fell asleep. Only after what was to my feeling a short time be awakened. The alarm indicates a domain wall. That soon? I buzzed. I must be getting old. I slept over 6 hours. I ordered the computer to prepare the jump drive. Natural domains are big. Unless they collapse to a black hole, but that's another story. I could jump a few thousand light years now and scan again. Repeat until I find the next wall. I both hoped and did not hope to find an artificial domain. My job is mostly not dangerous. I kept mapping out the safe places to travel beyond light speed. Not that much special to report about those galaxies. I hardly scanned them. That's a job for explorers and maybe diplomats. I had an explorer license too, but it expired. Maybe I should renew it and fly a bit around that big spiral galaxy. It had close to 1 trillion stars. No doubt there were new friends to meet. The last galaxy had so many domain walls I nearly missed it. A perfect spherical domain centered around a big star. I got lucky. Payday. I already imagined myself lavished with unfathomable wealth. I was getting ahead of myself. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was death. As explorer's tradition, I send my diary together with my official report of the anomaly. Priority 555 Anomaly Report. Spherical domain located in galaxy Y965b67. Radius estimated at about 2 light years. Centered on star Y965b67 N9837497. Attached Diary Explorer Invalid Reference. Diary of a Domain Breaker. Part 2. My speed was still high compared to the motion of stars in this galaxy. I had chosen my FTL jumps in a way I did not need to slow down. I could just make a dip into that bubble. I would be in and out in no time. Relative speaking, I could read a few books while getting through that domain. I shouldn't. I might get fined. I did it anyway. It was too tantalizing. Who knows what secrets were hidden in this domain? I set course for that big star. This was what I lived for. As soon as I passed the domain wall, I started to receive a message. It took the computer only a few seconds to translate. Warning biohazard. Weapons test area. Do not approach. A buoy. A buoy that was a warning, not a threat. I could ignore it. Should I ignore it? I'll tell them I did it for the hive. Course I ignore it. I'm an explorer. Scans of the system quickly revealed something was going on around the third planet from the star. Life. The atmosphere there is mostly compatible with my biology. Throughout the whole universe, only a few templates of species reached the stars. While their chemistry or details might differ, many are very similar. Something with congruent evolution, I'm told. I wonder what template was favored on this planet. Even though the atmosphere was breathable, I stayed in orbit and launched the recon probes. The probes. The horror when they returned their data. This world did not favor a single template. It favored all of them. That's not the horror. I've seen the biohazard. Seen it. It is a giant. Hundreds of times larger than the largest Zhusian. The giants were mercilessly slaughtering all the Ranbar-like, Zhusian-like, and even creatures like me. Every sapient template got stamped on, pulled apart, and swatted by those giants. That was not the worst. In some places, they had inescapable traps with light to confuse. 10,000s were drawn into the traps and killed. Those giants must be merciless brutes to come up with such a contraption. Desperately, I transferred blueprints for interstellar drives to the poor suppressed creatures. To mock me, the giants sent a message that translated as, "Thank you." Those giants were not mere brutes. They managed to translate my broadcasts. It won't be long before they manage to break out of their domain. I was so angry my stinger came out. Angry at those giants. Angry at myself. I send a warning message with the highest priority. Add my diary part 2. And hope I get away. That anyone get away.